What's up, everybody? I'm back with another episode of the Keep Going podcast. Today's guest is Thomas. He's the owner and operator of Greyman Solutions. He's a legend in the holster world, making custom Kydex holsters, knife sheaths, any of your EDC needs, he's there to help. In this episode, we get to discuss his journey creating the brand, what it was like when his business started to tenfold right in front of his eyes from his own hard work, what the journey was like leaving his 9-to-5 and pursuing this full time, and also some ins and outs of the gun world, how to carry, what's comfortable, what works for you, what practices you should do, and much more. I purchased a holster from him 2 years ago, so to be able to meet him today and learn more about his story and talk guns was a real full circle moment, and I know you all won't want to miss this one. I hope you all enjoy. Thomas, I appreciate your time. If you all get the chance, check out his website to get some items. Also check out 66 Tactical, an amazing gun range here in Oklahoma. As always, keep going. I've been so blessed on the podcast because it started with, of course, me figuring out who I wanted to interview and things. But the long-lasting connections are crazy. Even this for a full circle moment of, so my friend's name is Peanut. What's his real name?
Chris.
I always forget. Yeah, Chris.
Yep.
I always forget. People laugh at me because I've known him since 7th grade, and then I think I've mentioned him twice on the pod, and when I go to say his name, I'm like, what's his freaking name? But, so he's always been real good to me. I helped him get into a house. I told you I was in real estate. And he was like, you have a Hellcat? And I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, hit this guy up for your holster. So I reached out to you. I want to show the camera people. Check this out. So now we're full circle getting to sit with the man that gave me that almost 2 years ago.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been that long.
Man, it's like, and what's funny too is I will, people will call me and for whatever reason, I'll remember the order, as I see their name pop up. And
I bet.
It's weird because I build tons of holsters. And so just having that weird little connection of, oh, hey, da da da. And they're like, yeah, I put an order. And I'm like, yeah, you ordered, a Hellcat with, your logo on it or whatever. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, don't know. Superpower. That
attention to detail, it's what you do. So it's I don't know. It shows you care though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to if that was the one piece of business advice, if somebody ever asked and was like, hey, if you were to give somebody a piece of advice, that would be my advice, is make them feel just like their family. Mm-hmm. If you can make that personal connection to the point where nothing seems forced, that's going to take you 10 times farther. That customer service level is what really, in my opinion, lacks in today's industry across the board. That product customer service interaction, it's just not there. I mean, yeah, Amazon, but it's not, because how many people get on there and they're like, oh, it's this broke, and they're like, cool, we'll send you a new one, whatever, but that's really it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you go to Walmart and you can't even get that kind of stuff. You go to even some of the smaller mom and pop stuff, it's not that great.
Yeah, and I didn't know it was that important to me because I saw it more in my dad's connections, my grandpa's connections, and I didn't know it was important. But just like the holster and the other type of connections I built, I'm like, yeah, it does kind of resonate better when you have that relationship, because that was simple. I know it's crazy that it's been 2 years, but messaged you, sent you this, you're like, cool, see you in a couple weeks. He mailed it to me, and I was like, this is perfect. Yeah. Now it's been on my body a million times, and it's it's cool to have that relationship and then not even spend any time together. No. And then now get to meet you and it's we've already met.
Yeah. I mean, I've got one guy down in Texas that, I think he's on his 15th or 20th, somewhere in between 15 and 20 orders. And we've had conversations, not even just about holsters. It started because he's like, oh, hey, I got a holster question. Da, da, da. And then, an hour later we're getting off the phone and, I actually got to meet him this previous year out in SHOT Show.
That was the first time?
Yep. Wow. Yeah. Over the course of 2 or 3 years, and tons of time on the phone, text message, chit-chatting back and forth about holsters. And because he does a lot of competition shooting and stuff, so he's always playing with different accessories, thumb ledges, optic mounts, different pistols. And so he, and he's like, hey, I just want to make sure I get the right thing. And that's a lot of the customer interaction too, is just like, if you have questions, call me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind.
And I bet that's so important for folks, because even me, I was texting you about holsters earlier this week.
Yeah.
Once you find something that works and you like the service, you're not going to want to go anywhere,
Right.
Especially if you're a competition shooter like that and you're buying on scale. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to go to the same guy that provides the best product.
Well, and like, you can have the best product, but if your customer service isn't there, the product doesn't matter.
Mm.
People want that personal relationship, because we live in a world that is so disconnected that, like, most of us don't realize how much we want that personal connection.
Yeah. I mean, you stole my thoughts already with me not knowing that it meant so much.
Yeah.
And now when you get something that's quality, like I carry this leather wallet that was from someone in Oklahoma City that makes leather goods.
Yep.
I've had it for 5 or 6 years and it makes me so happy. And it's just this one item, or
Yep.
the holster, or a flashlight someone gave you because they make them. You're like,
Yeah.
man, I love that. What led you to want to start this? You said you've been doing it for 15 years.
Yeah. So I started back in 2011. So what actually started the process, and it still cracks me up to this day, because it's such a crazy journey, right? So I actually went to a job interview, and it was 2011. I was going out to do a job interview, trying to, just find my way in life and what I was doing. Nobody knows what they're doing at 21.
Yeah.
All I knew is I hated my boss and I wanted something different. And so I had a Galco King Tuck leather holster, which at the time was the Cadillac creme de la ville of leather holsters. It was black alligator.
Oh, wow.
Like it was fancy. Like it was my pride and joy, because I was like, yeah, I'm finally old enough to carry. Like, da 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 da. So I did. I'm 21. I don't have any responsibilities, so I could spend $250 on a holster, and like, wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Because I don't have adult money yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have adult money or problems yet.
Yeah, I don't have any of the adult stuff yet. So I did. I bought a really nice holster. I was super proud of it. And I was carrying into a job interview, had the shirt tucked in, and I sat down in a chair similar to this. And I was carrying small in the back, and the grip actually caught the back of the chair. And as I sat down, I felt it rise up out of the holster. So the whole interview, I'm sitting there and I'm trying not to like rock the chair back like this, but I'm just sitting there like squeezing it between the back of the chair and my back.
So it doesn't just fall out.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, oh my God. And, so luckily I got lucky. The guy actually had to go get some paperwork for me to fill out. So he left the office. Well, when he left the office, I just ripped my t-shirt out, grabbed it and stuffed it in my pants. Like, I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And I never did get the job, because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, the guy went left. I had my shirt tucked in. I came back. He came back. The shirt was untucked. That's weird.
You think that mattered?
Probably not, but
that is something to think about.
I think psychologically my head wasn't in that interview anymore, because I was so focused on, because back then too, like we didn't have this, some of the, like the law was if you brandished at all. Like if you got out of your vehicle and the wind blew and your t-shirt lifted up, that was brandishing a firearm. Mm. So at the time with the law, like it was a big deal for like just a gun to be out in general.
Yeah. Always concealed.
Yeah.
Oof.
Like that was it. So, just psychologically, I wasn't in that area.
Yeah. You didn't want to mess up that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like interview or, a charge.
Yeah.
Like, charge is a little bit more important than this job interview.
Yeah.
So I started getting online and looking at doing research and trying to figure out what other material was out there.
Based on it not being that secure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Based on the fact that I literally, something people do every day, sit in a chair and my gun fell out of the holster. Like that's not okay.
It's crazy too, because you had that like creme de la creme ostrich holster. Yes. Or alligator.
Yeah.
Alligator. That sucks.
Yeah.
Like you think it'd be perfect.
Kydex had just started hitting the market.
And like 2011 time.
Yeah, about 2010, 2011. And so, at the time it had just started coming out of the market. There really wasn't a whole lot of info on it, but like there was there was one guy in particular, real big name in the holster community nowadays, John Hampton, who's the owner of Filster Holsters.
Okay.
He does like the Incog, or not the Incog, that's G-Code.
What's Incog?
It's a holster name that G-Code has. But Filster has like the Floodlight. They have it's a holster that they created that basically like 300 different pistols based off the X300 platform or the TLR1. I think they have the TLR7 now. But even then, back then, he was starting out doing it, and YouTube wasn't as big either. And so like that's what popped up was, oh, John Hampton, how to make a Kydex holster. And I watched about 20 minutes of an hour and a half video like most guys do. And I'm like, oh, I could do that. Ordered a bunch of crap off of Amazon because Amazon was just starting to get big. Got it all in through, was like, okay, yeah. Kind of went back, rewatched a little bit of the video, threw the stuff in the oven, literally the oven in my kitchen, in my apartment at the time, on a cookie sheet. Because I didn't have a convection oven that he was using in there. So I'm like, oh,
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. Not to think that like I'm permeating poison gases into my cooking oven. Slapped it all together, had a bunch of towels because I didn't know where to get foam at the time. I was like, well, I really need something that squishes and pressured. And so I had a couple of sheets of 2x, plywood, some 2x4s, and had some C-clamps and just clamped them in between a bunch of towels, and it kind of formed it around it, and made my first holster. And I was like, yeah.
And that was for that gun that you carried in the alligator holster?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah, all right, I did it. Woohoo. So I get it all cut up and stuff, and go put the gun in, and you can hear it go clack. I was like, that's not going nowhere. Mm-hmm. Like that was like a shutting the door. Like, it's latched.
That's like a toe strap you shake around.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna pull it back out, and I'm gonna put it on, see how it feels and stuff. I couldn't get it out. Damn. Like it was so stuck in there that like I couldn't get the gun out. And I was like, oh crap. So I panicked. I took a Dremel tool. I cut it all apart. And I was like, I need to go back and sit down and watch this whole video.
What was the issue?
So there's a lot of things that go into making a quality holster that back then I was like,
it formed, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it'll fit. But like side channel, people don't realize anywhere that can be a catch point for anything to grab onto can cause retention. So ejection ports, that was a big one on that first one that I did. I didn't put anything in the ejection port to block it out to the original slide height. Mm-hmm. And so, that was a point of contention because like on this, I'll grab a blue gun here. So you have your dip right here. Well, that Kydex dips in here. Well, it was catching retention here.
Okay.
Well, as far as like non-light bearing holsters for us, everything's based off the trigger guard. And it's usually super thin, as you know on yours. Like it's not a huge divot.
Right.
Well, I didn't block the trigger guard. I didn't block this out. So it's
forming into there.
It sank into there. And so like it was way too much. And so, I was like, okay. So I went back, watched the whole video, was like, oh, I was like, okay. So go to Hobby Lobby, get some popsicle sticks, cut them up, fill them in here to build it up to the height of the slide.
That's so cool.
Same thing with the trigger guard, dowel rods for the side channels.
So many details.
Yeah. So many details that like just, again, I didn't know what I was doing. So I wasn't any better than anybody else that doesn't know anything about holsters.
Did your second one come out better where you could remove?
It was so much better.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So much better. I was like, oh, this
You
is
still
cool.
did it in the oven though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck it.
I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm 21. I'll heal. I'm young. You can't kill me.
Yeah. That's hilarious. But the second one, you were able to use it.
Yeah.
correctly.
And so like, showed it to my dad. My dad was like, dude, that's pretty cool, son. Like,
how did you, finish it out since you were telling me that at the time there weren't those screws and
yeah. So like we were stealing like Chicago bolts from like leather stuff and like eyelets from, to mash leather together. And, really just like anything and everything that you could find, so it might have
That
been,
worked.
yeah. So like it might have been like some, carriage, little small carriage bolts, to like attach everything together, or, like I said, leather eyelets, stuff like that.
But you were able to make yours fully functional with just those basic necessities.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I said, showed it to my dad. My dad was like, "Oh, that's really cool. Like I want one." And so like built him one. And then of course he went and showed all his friends, and they were like, "Dude, that's sick." And,
Are guns big in your family?
I wouldn't say they're big in the family. Like, I mean, we grew up hunting, fishing, stuff like that. Grew up with law enforcement and military background.
But he had enough friends that when they see it, they want one too.
Yeah. And so it just kind of snowballed from there. It's like, "Oh, well, my buddy over here," I'm like, "Well, bring me the gun." Like, cause there wasn't molds back then either. Like, yeah, there was a couple blue guns, but like there really wasn't a whole lot of anything.
Are you using the actual gun at that point then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I was taking real guns, cutting popsicle sticks up and filling up, and then using like blue painter's tape to tape it all on there and stuff. And I would have to sit down and like clean some of these guns because, some people oil the heck out of them. And, that oil doesn't allow that glue on the tape and stuff to stick. So like I would have to degrease them and then prep them all up. And then I'd, clean them, re-oil them, make sure everything was nice and, wasn't any junk left on them after I was done.
No tape, no popsicle stick pieces.
Yep.
Yeah, all that.
And, so, there was a little bit of like, just basic gunsmithing involved with it too, because like, I don't know all these different gun brands and how they come apart and stuff.
And those people are thinking, well, he made one. He's good at it. Here's my gun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And
so how long did it take till you were making them regularly? Pretty fast?
I would say I probably, for about 2-3 years, like I was just, it was more just here and there, kind of just for the fun of it.
But
like,
still consistent.
I wouldn't even say that. Like I was still working a full-time job.
Okay.
And so like it was more of just like a fun little hobby. Like, oh yeah, so-and-so wanted a holster. So like I'm going to build a holster this weekend.
Okay. So here and there.
Yeah.
But you're probably seeing steady like growth in your
craft, like I'm starting
right?
to see like, at least once a week towards the end of like that 2 to 3 year mark, like at least once a week, somebody's hitting me up like, "Hey, my buddy's got a gun, I'm going to bring it to you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And so I was like, well, let's kind of start seeing what else. And, Kydex had really started taking off too. And so like some of the, it was a really good community back then too. Like,
here locally or
just online. Like there was Facebook forums for Kydex holster manufacturers and stuff like that. Like people would just tell you exactly how to build it. And like you could post pictures and they'll be like, "Oh, you need more heat or more pressure. You need to do this, X, Y, Z." Just feedback of like how to make it look better, because there was edge polishing. Like we were all using kind of the same stuff. Like we were using Dremel tools and just regular hand drills and, toaster ovens, convectional toaster ovens to heat stuff up. And, we would get like, ceramic tiles from like Lowe's or Home Depot and kind of come to fit in there so that into the toaster oven.
Oh, so you'd have
so that it was like a smooth flat plate, because what a lot of us was finding is, they just come with those grates in them.
So it'd sink in.
Well, it would sink, but also that heat would hit it harder. And so you started getting like this tiger striping from the inconsistent
the ceramic
heat.
With the smooth, you're getting like a hot plate.
It was getting that consistent heating in there.
That's so smart.
But like stuff like that, just little things that like people were trying and figuring out, and we would share them and stuff like that.
So the 3-year mark is where you're like, probably need to take it more serious.
No, actually. Again, it was just kind of more of a hobby. Like it was just kind of, I enjoyed doing it.
Still working full time.
Still working full time for, corporations and whatnot. At the time I was actually working for Hobby Lobby's warehouse here in the city. And, was just kind of slowly doing it. And like, the original business name was Dead Man Holsters.
Okay. How'd you come up with that?
get caught dead with a crappy holster. Like that was my slogan, you know, because like that was my experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's falling out in a meeting.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so, you know, having that law enforcement, military kind of family, friends, you know, my parents' friends, one of my dad's friends was real big into law enforcement and stuff. He's like, hey, he's like, so, you know, something to think about. Like this isn't a very law enforcement friendly brand.
Dead man. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you know, that makes sense. And so I started playing with it. And at the time, the Greyman theory of like how to blend in with society as a gun guy was like really hot. And so I was like, oh, well, you know, I'll steal that off. You know, like I'll just kind of run with that gimmick.
It's so catchy.
Yeah. But I went with the E version of gray instead of the A. So like in America, gray is actually spelled Gray.
Okay.
Well, in Germany, it's spelled EY. Which I grew up in Germany. I was actually born in Germany because Dad was military.
How long were you in Germany?
I want to say like 3 or 4 years between the two different deployments, I think. It was early on childhood. So like,
but still,
you know, it was a significant time.
But that kind of drew you to keep it with the classic spelling.
Yeah. So keep it with that EY. It kind of ties back into, you know, my time in Germany and being born there and stuff.
And it probably resonates with some people too when they see it that way.
Well, and yeah, you know, but also like my thing is there was Greyman Project, Greyman Theory, Greyman this, Greyman that, and it was all AY. So it was like, oh, well, if I do this, it'll let me switch it up a little bit. And
I like the solutions too.
Well, and that was the other thing. I didn't want to limit what could potentially be. You know, if I went Greyman holsters, well, now that's it. I'm just holsters. You know, I don't just do holsters. I do EDC trays. I do law enforcement products. I do magazine pouches. It is all Kydex based, but like, it's not just holsters. Mm-hmm. I've built some prototypes from some other companies that have hit me up and been like, hey, we're kind of like looking at doing this. Like, you know, can you kind of come up with something and kind of help us? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I work with a company now that's Canada based called Cromag. It's a bunch of military guys up there that got together and made a little business, and they actually make a AR tool that has a takedown pin in it. So like you can actually pop your takedown pins out on your AR. It's got a stripper clip set up on it, so you can actually take the stripper clips, slam your rounds into your magazine, and built them a Kydex pouch for it that has a form of retention in it. Try to get away from that Velcro, you know, because Velcro is not the most tactically sound.
No, just even the noise of ripping it up.
That's what I mean. Like, it's not a tactically improving sound in, you know, behind enemy lines or just in general. Like, I mean, you hear Velcro in the store and you're just like, oh yeah, that's Velcro.
Yeah.
You know,
and the Kydex makes so much sense for those other accessories too, because it's like, like you said, efficiency.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and like you know, at the time, like our laws here were starting to change with you know, how you could carry, open carry, concealed, you know, wasn't, so there was a lot of training starting to happen. I was like, oh, maybe I'll dip into that, or, you know, so I never wanted to limit myself to just holsters.
So smart. When did you said at the 3-year mark is when it picked up more?
Yeah.
So were there changes you did, or you just took on more products to do?
At that point, like molding had started coming out. And so like, I was like, oh, well, you know, a lot of people have clocks. So like would buy like a Glock 19 mold, or, you know, so like I had started kind of slowly assembling some of the tooling and stuff like that.
And then it went from once a week to like a few a month, or more than 4.
Yeah, I would say probably, let's see, it's 26. I'd say probably 2015, 2016, it started like kind of ramping up, and like,
that's so good.
I was like, man, I was starting to take over the garage with this, and like it was just a hobby.
How'd that feel? Because you're doing it because you like love it.
Yeah.
But then when it takes off and it's like so useful and valuable to people, I wonder how that felt.
You know, it was weird because like there was a point where like I was out there working one night in the garage, and I was just like sitting there looking, because at the time I was still working like 50, 60 hours a week for somebody, for somebody else. And then like I would come home and like I would stay up till 2, 3 a.m. in the morning on Fridays, Saturdays, and, just do whatever I was doing. And, I was taking a break, and I was sitting there, and I was just kind of like spaced out, and I was like, there's a lot of stuff here. Kind of need to figure out what we're doing. Like we're at a point where like, this is kind of like a part-time job. Mm-hmm. Like it legitimately is at a part-time job status now. And I was like, okay, H&H had some knife show going on, and they were like, hey, I was friends with several knife makers doing sheaths for them. Kind of going back into why I didn't want to do just holsters.
Yeah, like, not limiting.
Knife sheaths is not a holster.
No, and it's in most people's so mind. Popular.
Yeah. And they were like, hey, you want to come set up with us at this knife show? Like, it's only $50. I was like, sure. And I actually had a guy come up to me and was having a conversation. He was like, well, I'd buy something from you if you had a website. I was like, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But it got the wheels.
Thank you.
Yeah. But thank you, because it got the wheels spinning. Mm-hmm. At that point, I had never even thought about a website, And
how cool that you were just like underground.
Yeah, straight underground.
But providing so many accessories to people.
Yeah, like and like I wouldn't even think I was that big. Like I still don't think I'm that big.
Well, you definitely are. Me walking into 66 Tactical and seeing your logo, and I'm like, dang, like I knew he was popular, but these are popular gun guys.
Yep.
My friend Chris was a gun guy.
Yep.
So I'm just like, no, he's the one.
Well, and I think that's the hard part sometimes with self-employment, right? It's like you're always looking ahead. Mm-hmm. You're always moving your goalpost.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm certainly guilty of it. And I'm sure you probably are too. Like we were talking earlier, like you're coming up on 10 years.
I know, it's so wild to think of.
Well, how many times do we stop and we're like, oh crap, like
I know
we hit a new milestone.
It's like
we hit another year.
Yeah. It's like a periodic dog walk in the morning. And I'm like, you're doing all right.
Yeah,
it's like,
you're doing all right. It's not that big. But it's not that big of a deal, right?
Yeah,
like,
don't fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I don't want to jinx it, so I'm just it's over there. I can see it, but we're just going to pretend it's not there.
So you leaned into the brand a little bit with the website and things like that at that time, or no?
So I started digging into like, okay, well, what would it take to get a website? Because like the internet's really starting to pick up. Mm-hmm. Like I grew up on AOL. Like you paid for the internet.
Dial up.
I mean, I got in trouble as a teenager for sending too many text messages.
Yeah, we blew up computers downloading songs.
Yeah. LimeWire was the thing back then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy cow. Like it was like, I was just, Googling like, how much does it cost to build a website? And I'm seeing like $15,000 to $20,000 minimum. And I'm like,
that's insane. And now you can just do it right now. We could do it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've actually built several websites for other holster makers that are like starting at that same point, and they're like, hey, like, what do y'all guys do for websites? And I'm like, hey, I can build you one in about a week. This is how much it's going to cost. And it's super budget friendly because I've been there. Like I was like, I don't have $15,000.
No.
I don't even have $15,000 on Thomas' side, much less Greyman's side.
Yeah, right.
And so I literally, like, everybody has these 14-day free trials, right? Like GoDaddy and e-commerce and or big e-commerce and stuff. And so like I sort of signed up. Like I don't know what I'm doing.
Website 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna play and figure out what I can figure out. And I'm not kidding. I probably did every 14-day free trial that was out there.
That's just talking about like just going for it though.
Yeah. And
no excuses.
I ended up on Shopify. Super easy friendly. Like they already had formats. You could literally plug and play. Like it would tell you like, hey, put product description here, put product picture here. Here's your pricing. And that was the only one that after about a week, I felt like I had any traction with.
Okay.
Like as far as figuring out how to build a website.
Got it.
And by the end of the 14-day free trial, like I had a website. Like I had a website. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Got that one figured out. I hope I see that guy again. I can hit him with a card and be like, hey, got a website now. buy something because you said.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of started like catching a little bit of traction. And
that proves like that you have to keep going because you're 4 years or 5 years in.
Yep.
Been consistent.
Full time
doing well. And in that time, you're at like a 4-year mark and it's going pretty good.
Yeah. That's,
and you so I'd quit at any time.
Yeah. And so like that was probably, I'd say about 2018 was about when I got the website up.
Okay.
So really not that long ago. I mean, that's what, 8 years.
And then you've been full time on it for 5 years.
4. Yeah, 4 this year, last month.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like started kind of getting some real traction and like, you know, cause now I'm reaching people outside of just my little local, you know, bubble.
Were you getting quite a few orders once that website popped up? Cause people are Googling and they're seeing it.
Not really, because I didn't know anything about SEOs.
Yeah. Right.
Like, and even now I really don't know anything about
you have
SEOs.
to get people for that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's a few things you should always look at when you're starting a business. It's worth the money to have an accountant. It's worth having somebody on the internet side that's all they deal with. And then, if you're not great with money, have a money manager set up because the accountant will tell you like, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that, but they're not going to manage your money for you.
When you're working for yourself, it's just so many other challenges.
Dude, there's so many things. Like it was funny because I was actually thinking about it the other day and I was like, if I ever get to a point where like I finally do start hiring some help, like I'm going to have to change a lot of the ways that I do things.
Yeah. Cause it works for you.
Yeah. It works for me. Like it's a well-oiled machine for one guy.
15 years is so cool.
Yeah.
Especially just starting with you going to an interview and not liking your holster. Like talk about destiny. That is cool.
Yeah. Well, and like, you know, people always, you know, I don't know if you're religious or not, but like I always have people like, oh, you know, well, how do you know God's there? Well, it's like you look at stuff like that, you know, and then I made the conscious effort of like, I really want to get serious about this because like at the time I'm still working full time up to this point for somebody else. And at the time COVID hits, business blew up.
Wow.
Like blew up. Like that first year after COVID, like we actually knew what it was, you know, or claimed to know what it was. I probably doubled and tripled.
Wow. And what is that? And don't give me, you don't have to give an exact figure, but what does that look like? Like tripled? Like, is that hundreds of holsters? Is that thousands? What is that?
Yeah, I'd say it probably went from like 100 holsters a month to about 1,000.
That's insane.
You know,
dude, that's wild.
Like, yeah, I'm like,
in your garage.
Yeah. And I'm like, jumping on the website, I have a lead time of 2 weeks, you know, cause like, again, I'm working full time. So
that's wild. Cause my lead time was like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
That shows how much you grew.
Well, wow. And so like right now I run a 3 to 4 week lead time and it fluctuates, right? I mean, cause there's so many different things that involve. There's shipping of the materials. There's ordering the materials. People run out.
And you doing the work.
You know, doing the work. Sometimes,
thousands of holsters.
Sometimes it's me that screws it up and like I forget to order something. I'm like, oh shit, you know, I gotta hurry up and order something. But yeah, I was like, oh crap. Uncle Sam finds out like I need to like start getting some stuff legit. And so LLC'd up. That was 2019, 2020, like business is staying steady at that number you know, and kind of getting bigger.
Even 100 a month is crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's start looking at actually going full time.
Which is scary.
Oh, it was petrifying. Like it's horrible.
Like, can I still be as successful or more doing something for myself? You're like really nervous.
Well, and you got to think too, like I'm married. I got a kid. Like it's not just me being 20 and, you know, can rob Peter to pay Paul over here. Like, I'm robbing the entire family. I'm, maybe not making a mortgage payment on time or something. Like,
there's real consequences.
There's real consequences for real actions now.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat on it for about 2-3 years.
That's a good amount of time.
Like, really like him hauling over, like, okay, well, what if I do go full time? And so I started paying more attention to the seasons, those ups and downs, of like, you probably have it in real estate too.
Yes,
like you have great times for buyers, you have great times for sellers, and they don't always.
And there's dead times.
And there's times where the market just sucks. Mm-hmm. And so I really started paying attention to that season of market.
That business mindset.
Yeah. And, was like, okay, now I know, like, summertime from, like, I'd say probably end of May to about middle of July is great. Like, that's a great time. But it sucks right there towards the last half of July to about September.
Then picks back up in hunting season? Because
everybody's going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's school season. People are, buying school clothes, school supplies. They're trying to figure out, after school daycare, and, they're having to change up summer plans. And so, like, starting to figure out really, like, when those good times are. Mm-hmm. Which was nothing new. Like, I grew up doing body work out of high school. So being commission paid, like, we have seasons too. Like, so you have to kind of budget for those slow times so that you still can pay bills and everything. And really started paying more attention to that. And then
I think it's cool that you took your time.
Well, and that's the other thing is, like, there's tons of other brands out there that popped up one night and, they're huge and they have, super fast lead times and stuff, but they've gone thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of loan to maybe get there. It was a big gamble, as to where, like, with mine at the time, like, if it dipped out, like, it wasn't going to affect me. Like, it was fun money.
Mm-hmm.
But starting to look at it as pay the bill money, it was completely different. So I was like, okay, had talked it over with the ex-wife when we were married, and was like, hey, I really think I want to do this. And she's like, okay, we'll, like, set a date. I was like, all right, cool. So I set a date. And that date came. I was like, all right, cool. I'm full time. Spent like the first 2 weeks just getting caught up, getting to a point where, like, I could feel like I could breathe and actually take my time to do this right.
What was that like, having the 2 weeks of, like, actually being able to just work in the business instead of just Fridays and Saturdays?
It was amazing. It was amazing because, like, mind you, like, I'm working four 10 to 12 hour shifts every week. So I'm off Fridays. So I would do this on Fridays and then get the kid from school. When he would go to bed at like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, go back out, work till 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, get up at 6 on Saturday, spend time with family all day Saturday. He'd go to bed, go back out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Sunday morning, get up 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Sunday morning, spend the day with the family, go back to, 5 to 8. Monday through Thursday. Yeah. And so, like, just being able to be like, okay, like, this is what I got to do now. And it was great. It was a really cool time. And then I got, like, everything knocked out. I was like, all right, well, cool. Like, let's go hit up some stores. Like, we actually have time to, like, really push this and do some marketing. Yeah. And,
did your quality go up when you had more time, when you started to do it full time, or was the quality always there? You just had to work harder on those late nights?
Yeah, I think it was the qualities, for me at least, in my opinion, the quality's always been there. Mm-hmm. Because, like, I don't want to send out a subpar product. Like, I just don't, because, like, if you get something and, like, I mean, what's the point of rushing, right? Like, if I'm going to rush, something bad is going to happen. I'm going to get hurt. Quality is going to go down. I'm going to miss a detail. And so I always took my time to get the quality there. Mm-hmm. But it was easier to get that quality there because now I wasn't constrained into about 20 hours on a weekend.
You're already tired, worn out from the week.
Worn out. still thinking about the job that we got to complete next Monday, or whatever.
How did marketing go for you? Like connecting with businesses and things? Because that's different. That's outside of the comfort zone.
Oh, for sure. I had a couple friends that had worked in gun stores and stuff. And so like the rapport was kind of already there.
Good.
But not knowing the retail side of stuff that's a whole nother ballgame. That's a whole nother bar game outside of just a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I just had these wild numbers and stuff put together as far as like what I thought would be good for a store to buy my products setups. And people were like, yeah, no. And so,
because I couldn't make enough reselling it or what?
The quantities, like, mind you, I don't know what I'm doing. So like, I'm just shooting for the fences. Like I'm swinging for home runs. Yeah. So like, I'm thinking like, 100 holsters in a store and da-da-da-da-da, like just wild numbers for something that was completely out of reality of reach at the time.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going to, actually Wilshire, was good friends with, the general manager, Tyler, up there. And he was like, hey, let's come in and sit down and have a business conversation and stuff. Let's talk about holsters. And I think because he was my friend and like we had a little bit of a personal connection, like we didn't go out and have drinks or, whatever, but like we had done stuff like this. We had sat and shot the shit for a little while. And
that builds a lot of rapport.
Yeah. And like he was just brutally honest. He was like, hey, he's like, this is legitimately what I'm getting from X, Y, and Z for X, Y, and Z. You're nowhere even near that. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense why I keep getting shot down. Which messes with your head too, because it's like, I've been building, I'm doing really good, and like people are liking it, and then it's like, no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's different though from like the one-on-one consumer to the retail store.
It's different. It's a different animal. Mm-hmm. Like it's not.
Are you sold in stores?
So I am in some.
That's cool.
I cater more to the mom and pops.
What a blessing for those consumers though that are going in there and getting a quality holster.
Yeah. I cater more to the mom and pops. Mm-hmm. I'm a small business. So like
connect with
I can connect with that small business. So I know what all looms on the small business side. Am I in academy? No. I don't want to be in academy either. Because the stuff that is in academy, like it's okay, but it's not great. So I don't want to be next to that.
You want to be where someone's going to, not a specialty store, but like when someone's going to a specific place because they know the quality.
Exactly.
And they have accessories.
Well, and they're going to that specific place because they've built their rapport there. So like if the owner says like, hey, this is where you need to go, they're going to go there because there's no reason for them not to trust that when in everything else gun related, they've gone there and the guy's been
100%
at least in the right direction.
Literally, I was with Peanut and he was like, here's my Hellcat, here's my holster. Do you want this? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, here's the guy. And I was like, well, of course I want that. That looks great.
Yeah.
And then boom, it's that easy.
Yeah. And so like, that's what I'm after. I'm after that small mom and pop style shop, or those smaller retail stores that aren't franchised that have that same mindset too. And that's the other thing is like find people that have the same mindset business wise, and you can build off of that together. We was talking about 66 Tactical, I love the community up there. That community is a true ride and die. Like
it's crazy how genuine it feels.
And that's it. There's
so
no,
crazy.
It's hard to explain, but there's no better way to explain it than just the fact that it's genuine.
Yeah, like if someone's questioning it, you're like, hey, go spend some time up there. Because even the day I was there, I interviewed Kyle. And then afterwards, I'm sitting out there with Rob and another guy, and I'm going to have them both on the pod. But you would have thought Rob was like my cousin or uncle or something. He was like just on it. And I'm like, man, this is cool. And then,
yeah, well, it's like Kyle said in his interview, like if you're up here and like people don't know who you are, like, and you're new, like, they'll come up and be like, hey, how you doing? You know, what are you shooting? Oh, that's awesome. You know, da, da, da. Well, like, hey, I've got this over here that, you know, this $4,000 gun. Like, if you want to shoot it, like, let's shoot it.
I think I'm getting their name confused. Is it Cole?
Cole.
Yeah.
You've got Kyle, which is one of the owners. You have Cole and Aaron who helped work it.
Yeah.
You've got John who was part of OKC Tactical. I think he's still part of OKC Tactical.
I was getting Cole's name confused because I think there's a real estate agent called, or a loan guy named Rob Cole. So it wasn't Rob, it was Cole who was making me feel like family. And he's Cole, like, hey, you come back up here, we're going to hook up some more.
No, Cole's great people. I knew him even before 66 Tactical. You know.
Sorry, Cole.
Yes.
I messed up your name, but it's not on purpose.
He wouldn't take it personally.
The only thing they took personal was they're like, oh, you carry a Hellcat?
But see, that's not personal. That's gun community personal.
Then Cole was like, hey, I'm not really judging you. I think you carry what you want to carry. I'm just saying I don't like it. I was like, okay.
That's that gun culture. Oh, I'm going to make fun of you because you're a Siggy or you're a Hellcat. Or, you know, I mean, I get it all the time because I'm a Glock. Oh, yeah, you know, you Glock guys. And it's like, yeah.
I'll make you laugh. When we were there shooting, we played Chase the Rabbit, I guess.
Yep.
And they were like, I just want you to see how fast people can shoot. So you just shoot where you want, and then we'll match it. And I'd shoot, and they'd be like, boom, boom, boom. And then I'd shoot, and they'd boom, boom, boom. I'm like, this is crazy. But it just shows, like, the camaraderie because I felt like family. Yeah. But also, just like your holsters being so high quality, when you put yourself in, like, a very high-quality environment, what's possible? Like, you can go there and really level up. You can get the gear here that's really going to level you up.
Well, it's not even so much the gear that's going to level you up. It's just going to make it easier. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you get that efficiency with it.
What's changed for you over time since you've been around guns?
Yep.
But now that you've built so many holsters, do you shoot regularly? Is it something you use as a main outlet as well?
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, I get up there. I definitely get to the range no less than twice a month. So I'm up there at least every other week on Thursday nights shooting the competitions. We have men's group up there.
Yeah, I've heard of that. He said he was baptizing a lot of people too, which was crazy.
We did. So
at the pond
it started at the range, like in a conversation during men's group. It was like several of us were like, yeah, hey, like want to get baptized. And Kyle's like, I got a pond. Let's do it at the pond. And we're like, that's old school and rugged. Like, you know,
that's kind of our style.
Yeah. Like they were, you know, cause that's the other thing is like none of us up there are really too far from each other. Mm-hmm. Like as far as like mentality and personalities and stuff. And so, yeah, Kyle was gracious enough and hosted it out there at his pond and had his pastor come out. I think the initial one, it was 2 different days because we had some people couldn't make it this day and some couldn't make it that day. So Kyle was just like, we're going to do it 2 days. But I think between the 2 initial days, I think it was like 20 people.
That's insane. How powerful is that? Yeah. You're talking about community and we're talking about all this stuff, but that
community,
that is impressive.
It's family.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. Because like we have new people that come up and shoot the competitions all the time. And like, I'll give you a great example. Like we had a guy show up 2 months ago, literally had what comes in the box. He had his pistol, the 2 magazines, and he had some cheap holster that he picked up real quick at like, I think he literally left the range, ran down to Academy, bought a holster that said it would fit it, came back and was like, I got a holster. And it was like, cool.
You're like, but that's not it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I was like, well, when you get ready, which actually I did end up getting him set up later that night but he was like, just, I want to shoot. But he only had 2 magazines. And literally that particular night, like you really needed like 3 to 4 magazines. And
because the mag changes are part of the course or there's that many targets.
Could be number of rounds per target, could be a mandatory reload. So like you're dropping your mag to do a reload because the course calls for it.
But even him being brand new, it was all inclusive. He was able to enjoy it.
Enjoyed it. And then, but like we were picking up his mags and like, I think a bunch of us like Cause he was like, I didn't bring that much ammo. He's like, did y'all like reload my magazine? And like, we were just taking personal ammo, throwing it in there, like, and like, here you go. And literally just handing him his magazine as he's sitting up there shooting. Cause he's like, all right, I'm out of magazine. We're like, no, here. So, like,
wow,
brand new, never experienced anything like that before. We had a guy come up one night too, and we were doing 2-gun pistol rifle. And he's like, I don't have a rifle. And I think like 40 of us were like, pick one.
Yeah, right.
It's like, I was like, I don't have ammo. Not worried about it. We want you to shoot. We want you to come out and have a good time. Because if you're having a good time, that's ultimately what matters for us. Like, yes, obviously safety, but like that good time factor is a big thing. Yeah.
And bridging the gap for people that may have like fear or lack of resource, like that feel like they can't be included. And it's like, no, you can come in.
Come on in, come on in. Like, we'll take care of you. I mean, I've had days where literally people were up there and like Cole's like, hey, you need to call Greyman and get a holster ordered and da. John does it all the time. John will text me like, hey, I got a new student, like, need a holster for this. And he just rolls it into part of the package of his training classes for those that don't have stuff. He's like, I'll get you a holster. Don't worry about it. It's added into the class. He hits me up and I'm like, cool, build it. I'll run it up there even like just randomly, like, so that I'm not wasting shipping and stuff and waiting.
And it gives you a good time to get there.
Well, it gives me a chance to get out and
nothing better than like having that connection with them where it's full service.
Yeah.
So even someone going in there brand new, like, I just bought this gun at Academy. Yep. It's like, okay, come in.
Yeah. Come on in. Like, well, they've got trainers. We have, the gunsmith and Cerakote guy, James.
Yeah. Which the Cerakote on your Glock is nice. I like it.
Yeah. No, James does some great work.
It was funny when I was there, Cole and Kyle were like, all right, man. So once you come here 2 or 3 times, we'll send you right over there. And then you can go over here.
Yep.
And then you can go see the tattoo guy, which his work is great too. Did he do your
arm? So Matt,
I could tell from his style.
Matt's doing my sleeve. He's a little mad at me because I hadn't got back to him in a hot minute because, had some other finance stuff that needed to go.
Yeah, and tattoos are one of those things that most of the time you sit down and you're on it for a while.
Yeah.
If you take too long of a break, sometimes it kind of goes to the back burner.
Yeah, well, and I mean, like, I was going through divorce and stuff, and so, like, I was kind of having to try to...
You had to be a grown-up.
I had to be a grown-up for a little bit.
But that speaks again to the community. It's like you can go in there, it's 24 hours.
Yes.
And you can shoot at night, you can shoot in the morning, you can shoot when it's cold, when it's rainy.
Yep. You
can get your gun worked on, you can get training, you can get a tattoo, which is crazy. A high-quality tattoo, because his work is really good.
Him and his girlfriends, both of them are just top-notch.
Get a Cerakoted.
Yep.
I saw they just Cerakoted someone's wheelchair for a handicap guy.
Yep.
Like, it's a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're in that community, but also a part of it as far as like, we've got this, we've got holsters. That's a blessing in itself.
Oh, 100%.
To know that the quality's there is crazy.
And that's it's something that's really hard to find.
Yeah, it's super rare.
Because again, like, I mean, Matt, the tattoo guy, he shoots there. Like, he comes, like, we did a competition during Halloween last year, and like, he dressed up as Frodo the Hobbit, and like, people were out there in costumes and like, we're just having fun. Like, this is a place to go. Bring your kids, bring your family, like Sticker Phantom. Good buddy of mine that used to work there, Logan. Me and him get together up there and we take our kids and we're letting them shoot the 22s and like, and even like something as small as that, right? Like, if you're out with your kid, like, and you got to go bathroom, like, sometimes they don't always want to go sit in the potty with dad or mom, It's like, I don't know, leave them. Like, we'll watch them. It's like, no. It's like, no, seriously. Like, it's not a big deal.
No, I felt it when I was there that day. I had a great podcast with Kyle, and then afterwards, he had to leave. We shot for a little bit, and then he had to leave. I will say, when they were like, hey, do you want to shoot? Like, the light that came on their eyes was like so cool because they just got all kitted up. But then they were like, hey, we have to go do stuff. You shoot here as long as you want, and then just let me know when you're leaving. And I was like, how nice is this? So I'm just sitting there by myself for 45 minutes shooting on a random Tuesday. And then Cole's like, yep, and when your time, we'll schedule that first lesson and we'll do this. And luckily, I'd already got a holster of yours or I would have had to call you that day.
Yeah.
Like, luckily, I was in there because I was walking with Kyle and I was like, Greyman? He's like, yeah. I was like, that's what this holster is. He's like, the best.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it speaks to not only the community, but like what's possible. Because that's the coolest place to be for shooting. Like,
100%.
Like, how can you beat that?
100%. Some of my best friends that I have established in the last 2-3 years has either come from 66 or somebody that, like, it's you talk about full circle, like it comes full circle. Like I knew Cole before 66. Well, now he's at 66. I knew Aaron before 66. Now he's at 66. I knew James before 66, and like, yeah, it's just kind of all become our home base and stuff.
Which I feel like that's pretty impressive that it's even available with the 24 hours show up, shoot. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And it's so nice too, because like,
so nice.
There's been times even myself that I'm like, man, I need to get to the range. Like I need that outlet.
Yeah. You need
and
some
it's like,
time.
But it's like, oh, it's 8:00. So get your butt in the truck and let's go.
Yeah.
And you drive up there, you check in, you flip the lights on, set your targets up and shoot.
How's it been for you? Like, you grew up around guns, like you said, but then you got into the holster and accessory industry, and you've really, like, I can't sugarcoat that at all. Like, that business of going from just like so many holsters a week to 300 to thousands, like, what an accomplishment. Like, we can't short sight that. But as far as like getting more involved in the gun culture and getting all that training and things, what's it done for you? Because it's so, I feel like it's so, I don't know, satisfying. It feels good to be able to work the equipment that you're choosing to carry to like save your life.
Yeah, I mean,
but also on the sports side, it's fun that way.
100%, 100%. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost in the sauce sometimes. It's like, you quit having fun.
Yeah. You gotta have fun with it.
You gotta have fun with it. Not everything has to be so serious all the time. Let loose, have a sense of humor too. That helps a ton.
Yeah.
If you got a good sense of humor, it'll take you far in life. But I mean, it's cool because like, I have people that call me because just of the knowledge that I do know because of guns. Like I've had matter of fact, I had a customer earlier this morning that called me and was like, hey, very similar to what we talked about. Like, hey, like, I'm carrying in shorts and quite frankly, it just sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, because your clothing is not made for that. Here's a product that I personally use. Look at it. Here's a couple other options that, are similar, but I don't have any time with. I'll give you the info for you to go and make your best educated decision off of, if you're willing to do a little bit of research and stuff. If not, like this is a product that I do personally use and trust.
Yeah.
So it's cool too, because, like it kind of all ties back together.
Yeah. You're almost giving back.
Yeah. And like I had a guy call me earlier this morning too, was up at a different gun shop, was like, hey, Corey over here. I was like, yeah, I know Corey, good people, da, da, da. He's like, I'm wanting to get into competition shooting, and he told me to call you and get a holster. And I was like, well, hey man, like, best time to call me. Like, we're having a match tonight. Come out and like, I'll show you. Like, I'll show you. You can watch us watch us shoot. Check it out. Maybe, like, here's what we do. Told him the spiel about 66 Tactical. It's 24-hour. We have trainers. We have, you can shoot and move. He's like, seriously, y'all can do all that out there? And I'm like, yeah. And so like, it's great because like, not only do they push me, I push them. And, so it's not competition, it's collaboration instead of competition.
Yeah.
And it's just, it really is unlike anything that I've ever experienced. But I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of freedom to it. You always hear people, oh, if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. It's a little bit on the far-fetched. I've worked my butt off some days.
Yeah.
But I've never gone home and, and been like, man, today sucked. I don't want to go back tomorrow. I'm over this, but it's like, today was rough. Today wasn't my best day, but it wasn't horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So it is cool that it kind of, you know, again, something so small as I went to a job interview to build doors. That's what it was. It was a door manufacturing company. I was going to interview to build doors, and, you know, 15, 16 years later, however long it's been now, like, I'm not even anywhere near doors.
It's crazy because if you would have never bought that holster too, you never know how your journey would have went.
Oh,
Or if you wouldn't have even wanted to carry it that day.
yeah.
Because they literally came from, like, real world application. You're like, this does not work.
This doesn't work.
I think that's why your product is so good too, is because it came from a place of providing value to yourself because what you had wasn't working.
Yeah.
And you understand how much you need to help those people that are asking for the same thing.
Yeah. And, you know, kind of ties back into what you just asked a few minutes ago, is like, it's all real world experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I carry every single day. Like, I'll be sitting there in the house, you know, 8:00 at night. I still have my gun on me. I'm still in my jeans or my shorts, you know, and I'm still like, I could get up and just leave at any point, even though I'm not going to, you know, and it's like, oh, okay. Like, I carry appendix now. I never planned to build an appendix holster. And I had a really good customer back in the day. About the only thing that was out was like T-Rex arms, appendix rigs. And he's like, I don't like them. They're stiff. Da, 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 da. He's like, I love all your other holsters. Build an appendix rig. I'm like, no. Like,
Why didn't you want to?
Because I had that stigmatism of like, you know, I don't want my gun pointing at my junk. Like, that's dumb, you know. But it's like,
well, it's sitting at your hip anyway. It's not like it's going to get you if you had it on the back.
sure,
but on your junk is scary.
You know, like that's
sensitive.
what makes me a man. You know.
So what did you do to like make it better?
Well, I mean, honestly, like he's like, look, he's like, I'm just gonna be real with you. You either build me an appendix holster or I'm not buying anything else from you.
Damn.
And I'm like, damn, like we're not friends, but like you paid me a lot of money. You've paid me a lot of money to build holsters. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna figure this one out. And so I just started playing with it and kind of started looking at how like T-Rex was set up. And I was like, okay, I kind of see what he's talking about. And so I built one for me. I sent him pictures. I said, just be patient. Don't hate me. Don't quit buying from me yet. But like, I'm working on it. But until I'm satisfied with it, I'm not sending it out. And so I carried it for, I think 2 weeks. And I was like, this thing's a piece of junk. I hate it.
What were the negatives?
You don't realize how much your body moves. And so I was pinching myself. I was digging in. So like even just sitting, like wasn't comfortable.
Because it's like hitting your stomach or your hip bone, right?
In the pelvis and the stomach, you know, crushing the boys.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was catching strays left and right.
Well, that's cool that you tested it out though.
And so, you know, and that's what I did with insides and outsides. Like, you know, for me, if I'm not personally satisfied with it, I'm not going to send it out for feedback. I'll send it out for feedback after I feel like it's worthy. And then once I get the feedback, you know, modify it, see what they're saying. And so I did. After about a month and a half, I was like, okay, I think I got a appendix rig that I'm happy with. Sent him one. He's like, dude, night and day difference. He's like, this is so much better. But at that point, I've already been carrying it every day for a month. And I'm like, I can actually really carry this way. Like, I'm not a big guy. I don't have a lot of real estate this way. I've got more real estate this way just naturally because I'm wider this way. I was like, okay, I can carry a full-size gun here without ever showing versus here because I don't have that real estate.
Because when it's on the outside, it's pretty much showing unless your shirt's down, right?
Yeah. But I mean, just as far as like here, what typically happens is like you bend over and your shirt comes up and now it's hanging out on your grip like this.
Yeah.
You know, I can bend over and grab stuff. I can reach up and stretch. Like I don't have to worry about it as much here.
Are the benefits mainly concealment then for you, or is it just a functionality of being able to move like you naturally do?
Both. For me, it's more comfortable. And like we just got John on it. Up there at 6'6" Tactical, like military, personal trainer, Like, dude, John's a beast. Like, John is a beast.
Mm.
Just got him on it. And he's like, dude, I've been sleeping on this for years. He's like, this is great. Even like riding a motorcycle, like this is so much nicer.
Oh, it's comfortable on the bike too?
I don't ride a bike. He says,
well, I ride a bike. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
The annoying thing is like making sure your shirt's not flying up the whole time.
Yep. So, that wind's pushing that shirt down. And I mean, again, I don't ride a bike, so I don't know. I'm not building holsters to ride a bike. I'm building holsters to live every day.
Is there a benefit to the appendix though, as far as like just, I guess on the concealment side, is it just better to have it there? In your opinion?
In my opinion, concealment wise, sure. Because it is easier to conceal. It's also easier to maneuver. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm here, I can go here without really making too much of a motion of body language. But if I have to go here,
it's a lot.
Now I'm starting to open up that window and kind of starting to highlight
what you're about to do.
What I'm about to do. Even sitting in a vehicle, like with a seatbelt, that seat's pushing into it, and it's like, okay, I got to get in and adjust. I just sit down, just like right now. Like I sit down. The only thing that I do is I'll take my t-shirt after I get my seatbelt on. I'll take my t-shirt and I'll do that, so that way the t-shirt's sitting over the seatbelt. That way, if I slam on the brakes and that seatbelt locks up, that t-shirt's not pinched and I'm having to sit here and pull on it like that. Like it's already accessible.
My grandpa was a law enforcement officer for 43 or 44 years, and he liked to carry appendix.
Yeah.
He said it was so much easier for concealment, because in those days, not everyone had a gun like they do now. So in the 70s,
guns were big back then.
When he's in when he's in the 70s doing like beach work in California or something, he's like, you know how bad it'd look if you had a gun? Oh, so like when he did have one and he had it on the appendix, and this is like when you talk to people like John or Cole or someone with like just these real world experiences, he's like, yeah, it's so much faster to just pull it out and shoot from here than have to reach.
Yep.
And it's like, you don't think about that unless you're in that field. But,
well, and it's also easier to protect.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because
you have all your core strength right here. So all I have to do is just curl up.
And it's so much harder to see, like you said.
Yeah.
Draw wise, it feels pretty natural from the front. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, because again, like you're a dude, so you'll get it, but like, it's like zipping your pants. Like it's a natural motion.
Yeah. Cause you're just coming up.
Yeah. You're just coming up, oh, I'm going to scratch my chest, like it's a natural movement as to where like, you get an itch back here on the back on underside of your armpit. It's like, or you have to like really reach over and you're like, this is not, I can't reach it, or, it's not as awkward of a motion.
It's crazy that guy just asking for one is what like converted you.
Yeah. Yep. And then like, I still give him credit to this day, cause I'm like, I would have never carried appendix. And,
are there any risks carrying an appendix for?
Not any more than anything else. I mean, keep your booger picker off the trigger, don't put your finger on it. If you're going to reholster, then nothing is a threat, which means you feel safe enough to reholster. So there's no reason not to look and reholster. There's not, it's not any different than carrying anywhere else as far as how you would do it.
You need those fundamentals just in place.
When people shoot themselves in the crotch and stuff, it's because they're not handling the firearm safety to begin with.
Yeah, it'd be crazy to be putting a gun up with your hand on the trigger. That's wild.
I mean, I'm sure you probably saw the clip. We had the two cops out, and I think there was two cops somewhere, and they literally shot, like one of them shot one the other day in their parking lot, because the homeboy rolled up in his cruiser and they're sitting there BSing with another guy, and he's just like playing. And so the other guy's in the car, literally cops. Literally, the other guy's like, ha ha ha, boom, and shoots his off like his buddy. Like,
I did not hear about that. That's here.
It wasn't here.
Holy shit!
But law enforcement.
Bro, why are you playing? First of all,
right.
That's crazy.
That's when bad stuff happens with guns.
I can't believe a cop is pointing a gun at another cop, and then the other one pulls his out.
Yes,
it's like it's getting worse.
It's getting worse.
What
like
the fuck?
Like nobody
just
was
shot him in the chest.
Yeah, shot him, like clipped him right up here in the shoulder, and like now you have, and And it's on dash cam. Like, it's on dash cam because he's in his cruiser and he rolls into the garage and like they're sitting there at the end of one of the other cruisers, like joking. And one guy's leaning like this and the other guy's standing over here and he goes, and he's like, huh. And then, 2 seconds later, you see the guy and he's like, oh crap. Because the other guy that was in the cruiser
Tried to be funny
as well and pointed it at him and then ended up shooting him.
So he pulled out, had his finger on the trigger. Just golly.
Again, bad stuff's going to happen when you don't take the responsibility serious.
And that's regardless of how you're carrying.
I'm sure you're probably like most of us. Guns are sitting there all the time. Have they ever shot anybody?
Oh, bro. I had to get over it because I didn't grow up around guns.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we would shoot guns when we were hunting and stuff, but I didn't even start hunting till I was an adult. But the only experience I had with guns is my mom's dad had this room that was a little bigger than this, and he had those, what are they called, curio cabinets with the glass doors?
Yep.
He had like 4 of them just stacked. But that was all my experience. I never really handled them. So even when I was getting older and like bought my first pistol and stuff, I was always going to people better than me.
Yeah.
To like, how do I use this correctly?
Right.
And that's why I asked your confidence earlier, but you've had more experience than I. That's been the biggest game changer, especially for like listeners that don't mess with guns or are scared of guns, has been getting real training with experts like yourself.
And see, but you also have to vet those trainers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can get on YouTube and I'll give you a prime example. There's one, and I'm sure thousands of people have seen it because I know I've seen it probably 5 times in the last year. This dude's sitting at an indoor range like big boys, teaching a class, and he's got this 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. He's sitting there bouncing like this and just right off into the roof. Did you mean to do that?
And he's like, yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah. It's like, vet your instructors.
Yeah, that's scary.
If your instructors won't give you at least 5 previous students they've trained to contact as references, I would urge you not to use them.
Yeah.
If I call you, being real estate, like, I'm going to be hesitant to use you because I don't know you. But if I call a buddy of mine, I'm like, hey, I'm trying to buy a house, trying to sell a house. And they're like, hey, this is who I used. That confidence level in them automatically goes up 110%.
That's why referrals in any business, just like your holster, I had no questions.
Yeah.
Because the guy that's way more experienced than me said, that's the holster you're going to get. It wasn't even like a question. It's like, you want a holster? That's the one you're getting. Like,
yeah. But it should be no different for trainers. True. Like, if they're not willing to give you referrals to call and be like, hey, how's so-and-so's training? Because the other thing is like, you have a whole, I tell people this all the time with holsters. Like, holsters are just shoes for guns. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just shoes for your guns. You're not going to wear flip-flops to go hiking.
Right.
And if you are, you're an idiot. You're not going to wear penny loafers to the beach. And if you are, you're an idiot. So you're going to have proper shoes for whatever you're doing that's proper for that setting. Mm-hmm. Instructors should be the same. Like, are you trying to go out here and be a tier 1 special forces operator? No. So if the guy is constantly ragging on himself about, oh, I'm a former tier 1 Navy SEAL, it may not be the guy for you to give you an intro into pistol.
Right.
Because you're probably going to get somebody who, and I'm not saying this is for all of them, but it's something I've definitely seen. Like, you get the guys that they're tier 1 operators, but that's what they know. That's how they train. So they're going to yell and scream at you and not really connect with you. And that's going to be a turnoff from the gun market. So you want to find somebody that actually has legitimate experience, that legitimately does what they're teaching.
Yeah, it fits your style.
And fits your style and personality. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, holster-wise, and that's fine. That doesn't mean the product sucks. It's just everybody's body's a little different. I can carry appendix. You might not be able to carry appendix. I don't carry outside the waistband.
I know. I want to carry appendix now that you got me on it.
I carry appendix. I'd say probably 90% of the year.
You use that strap or no? The one you showed me?
So I do like during the summertime, like when it's blistering hot and 120 degrees, and it's like, if I could get any less clothing, if I could have less clothing on, I would.
But that strap is just on bare skin. It doesn't bother you?
Because they built it with a antibacterial liner into it with some fabric. They specifically used a fabric that has antibacterial like properties to it.
What's it called again?
Comfort Concealment Belt.
And that belt just on your natural skin feels fine.
Yep. I sweat profusely in the summer. And take it off. Next day it's dry. It's not it's not sobbing wet. I don't have any rash marks or anything. So, and that was
the appendix though. It just sits on the belt. Or on the jeans.
Both.
So it can just connect to your jeans.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yeah. You literally put that belt to your skin, and it's the same as a regular belt, but because it's a little bit wider, like if you're carrying with gym shorts, most gym shorts and sweatpants just have a shoestring lace. Well, you get those tight, they start digging in the back of your hips when you start having weight up front or even on this side, anywhere else that is opposite of where that gun is, that shoestring's just going to start digging in. So this gives you more footprint, which ultimately in return is going to create less pressure on the body. If I go to poke your chest with just a finger and I push as hard as I can, after a minute or two, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But if I'm using my hand, it's not going to hurt as bad.
Right.
Even for the same amount of time. Like, it's going to be night and day difference.
I guess the appendix would be a little more efficient as well without having to have as much. Like, you don't have to have belt loops. You don't have to have a belt. You can just have your pants.
Well, but pants, no clothing, kind of like I told you the other day, there is not a single piece of clothing on the market that has the structural integrity to properly hold the weight of a firearm.
Right.
That comfort concealment belt,
that's the necessity.
That's the necessity. That's that $50 accessory that's going to make that gun be comfortable. Because if it's not comfortable,
you won't carry it.
You won't carry it.
Yep.
You see professional bikers literally change the seats on their bikes because it's not comfortable to ride the bike. It's not comfortable to have that little seat riding up your rear for a quarter mile, much less 8 miles. And so if it's not comfortable, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
If the car doesn't feel right when you're test driving, you're not going to buy it. So there's a lot of things that translate into analogies for holsters that most people just don't think about.
I think that's good too for folks, because I bet that's one of the challenges for people when they're getting into wanting to carry. It's like, well, it's uncomfortable and I don't want to carry it, because you're right. If it doesn't feel right, and you have to find a way to where it's comfortable, like you said, keys, phones, wallet.
Well, and that's why I go back to that. If it's not comfortable for me, I'm not sending it out. If I'm not truly happy with it, I won't send it. But I also look at all the different options that are on the market to where, it's like somebody calls and is like, hey, I really love the holster, but I'm having a problem with this. Okay, look at Holster Pillow. It's a super great company. It's a small company, but instead of your traditional wedges that you typically get for holsters, they're legitimately using memory foam pillow filling. It's little chunks of memory foam. Matter of fact, I happen to have some here. But that's all it is. It's little.
Oh, yeah.
It's little chunks of the memory foam that he's cutting up and he's making into these pouches. You take your little Velcro adhesive, attach it to your holster, and then what that does is gives you a cushion, gives you a pillow. So a lot of times where it's uncomfortable is down here in the bottom of the gun, especially in sitting with appendix, is because all that pressure is going to the base of that gun.
Right.
So you have a smaller point of, again, if I poke you with your finger, it's creating more pressure. Well, I can take that, I can stick it here. Well, that does two things. One, it tips that gun, the muzzle of the gun out. So now that grip is in tighter, but it also gives you some comfort. So that helps the whole top side of the grip to push a little bit tighter to the body, which is going to let it conceal better, but it's also going to provide a little bit extra comfort.
Yeah, not only the comfort, but just being more upright, it's more accessible too.
Yeah. So, because typically you have to think of your belt line like a teeter-totter. If your belt line's here, all that weight on that gun is going to tip outward. So if you have more up here, it wants to tip that way because there's naturally more weight on that side of the teeter-totter.
Right.
So here, and so those smaller compact guns, sometimes, like the Hellcat Pro or like the 43X, you have the same size grip as a 48, but you've got a shorter barrel.
So it's tipping.
So it may want to tip more.
Okay.
Or you can go to like with the Bodyguard 2.0. It's a super small gun. It's about yay big.
Wow.
Well, that's not much bigger than your belt. So how much more of it is up there? So now it really wants to tip.
Got it.
So, there's little things like that people will call me and like, hey, I'm having a problem with this. Hey, try this. If you don't like it, I'll personally buy it because I'm going to use it because I love them.
That's so smart. And it seems like obvious, but it's just not things you think about. People go to the store, grab the gun, grab a holster off the rack, put it on, say it's not comfortable, and throw it in the safe.
Yep.
Instead of like making things functional for yourself.
Well, but most of them are going to go, like for state of Oklahoma, you don't have to have a license to buy a gun. So a lot of people are just like, I need a gun for home defense. Well, that's all it is. It's a home defense gun.
And it just sits on their dresser.
It literally just sits on their dresser or in the nightstand, and they never shoot it. And then you have the one that's like, oh, I want to carry because like I was scared at work and made me think I should probably carry my gun. And then they go down and they buy that cheap holster and they're like, well, this thing's really not comfortable to carry. But like also those classes that you take to learn, like if you do get your carry license here, the class here basically is to teach you the laws. That's it. There's no instructional as far as like...
It's like getting a motorcycle license. It's like...
Yeah. They're not going to teach you how to ride. You have to go take a class to learn how to ride. Mm-hmm. Or you have to have a friend teach you. And, if your friend's constantly doing wheelies, he's probably not the best one to teach you.
Right.
If he's on his fifth bike because he's crashed at the other four, probably not the best one to teach you how to drive a bike.
That is so relatable in the gun world, though, because when you do go to train with the right people and you see what they are using as the gear, or like whether it's a holster or a belt or whatever. I remember going to shoot with my friend Scott. He has a military background, which I've been blessed to shoot with different ranges of folks.
Yep.
Like I get to shoot with him. I get to shoot with the people at Tactical, and also I've interviewed a couple people that do the USPSA shooting.
Yep.
So I've been getting like this well-rounded training that's really cool. But I remember going with Scott, and he's like, don't ever bring that holster back over here. And that was like before I had gotten yours. And he's like, also, get a belt, dude. He's like, also, get some pants on, because I had like joggers.
Yep.
I'm like, why is my holster not working? Because I went back, and I had your holster, and I had the belt. He's like, well, you got to get like some structured pants.
Yes.
It can't be joggers. And I'm like, okay. And then I do that, and it works better. And then I go shoot with someone else, and they're like, okay, I think it was with Cole. He's like, just scoot it up just a hair, because I had it on my hip. He's like, I get it, concealment. He's like, but you're never going to be able to grab it like that.
Yes.
He's like, so about an inch. And then we're shooting. And I'm like, those are minor things, but just game changers in the level.
Well, like I have people all the time that come up and, brand new, like I have no idea what I'm doing, but I need a holster. My friend has recommended me to you. And I'm like, look, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what holster to get. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to start wearing it. To where A, it's comfortable, it's not an inconvenience. And B, you gain confidence with it without the pressure of ever leaving your house.
Yeah.
Wear it at the house. There are nuances like going to the bathroom that you don't think about when you start carrying a gun. And then you end up on 6 o'clock news because you left your gun on the toilet paper holder in the middle of Lowe's, like we've seen so many times. Wear it at the house. Learn those nuances.
That's good advice.
So it's little things like that. But, you was talking about like, oh, well, why does my holster not work? I went down to a police department here in Oklahoma not too long ago, and was going down there to show off some of the law enforcement stuff and try to start getting some gear into the police department there. And one of the guys was like, oh, I got to have a paddle because like none of the other hardware works. I was like, what do you mean? Like paddles, to me, paddle is one of the worst hardware options.
What's a paddle?
So your paddle is going to be just a quick on and off set up like this. So this is going to attach to like the back side of the gun, and then your belt, it just slides in between your pants like that. So your holster's sitting out here, and then the paddle itself just slips in. It's a quick on and off. 90% of the ones that you buy up at like Academy or Walmart are going to have some variation of this. To me, this is one of the worst pieces of hardware you can have. Obviously, I sell it because some people really like the paddles, and it fits what they need.
What was the cop's thought when you started describing it?
Well, I was like, well, why do you need to have a paddle? He's like, they never sit right. Like, they flop too much. And I'm like, well, like, I happen to have my whole display box, and so I gave him a holster with an actual paddle. And I was like, well, can you show me? And as soon as he lifted up his t-shirt, I was like, well, there's your problem right there. Your belt sucks. He's wearing like a groove belt.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have any structure. They're great to hold your pants up, but as soon as you put anything on it, it doesn't have the structure in it. So you've got a glorified rubber band trying to hold up a 3-pound gun.
Yeah, I had to get, and I still got a basic belt. There's levels,
yes,
obviously, but I got one from, what is it, 511?
Yep.
And it's just, I don't know, a little over a 1/4 inch thick, and it's been a game changer.
Yep.
Just having some structure.
Just having that structure, So I always tell people, your gun's your motor, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's where all the powers come from, is the gun. You're the chassis. Your belt's the tires. If you've got shitty tires on your car, you're not staying on the road. Mm-hmm. If you've got a crappy tire, nothing's going to fit right and it's not going to work properly. The holsters are the rims. Yeah, there's cool looking rims. There's not cool looking rims. There's cool looking holsters and not cool looking holsters. But that puts it in a perspective that's relatable, that almost everybody understands. Mm-hmm. Because it's hard to understand, especially when you're coming into this brand new and have no knowledge of like why. Because most people are looking at it like, oh, well, I just went and spent $1,100 on this brand new SIG 211. I've got a great gun. I've done spent all my money on it. I'm going to buy this $30 holster. And they're like, this gun's crap. I hate carrying it. And it's like, well, yeah, you dumped all the money over here and didn't put any money here. You can't do that. You have to have everything balanced. Mm-hmm. You can go buy $1,000 grade A5 filet, beef, mm-hmm. Wagyu, A5 Wagyu. And if you throw that son of a bitch in a cheap Dollar Tree, burnt to hell, beat up pot with no oil, it's not going to be a great steak. Yeah. Like, it's going to taste like crap.
That attention to detail.
That attention to detail and having things balanced across the board make a huge difference. But again, you're looking at it from like, hey, I've got $1,100 gun. I've done blown the wad over here. Now you're telling me I need another $400 because, you get into where people are so bent on, oh, you got to have a Surefire, not a Streamlight, but a Surefire, because Surefire is the best brand of light on the market. Yeah, but I can buy 2 Streamlights for the same price of a Surefire. Most people don't need an X300. Most people will do just fine with an O-Light.
Yeah.
Most people are just wanting enough light to point it down the hallway because they heard something go bump and they're scared shitless and want to just make sure that, if they have to shoot, that they're seeing what they're shooting. They don't need an X300 that's blasting 1,000 lumens down the hallway when a 500 lumen O-Light that cost $100 will do them just fine.
Yeah, that's true. Like, be efficient with the spending where you can and then pay where you need to.
Right. No Jeep out there is running Walmart all-terrain tires on it and going and rock crawling.
No, right.
That Jeep will do just fine going down the highway 80 miles an hour with those basic Walmart tires. But they're not going to rock crawl with them. Mm-hmm. So you have to gear your stuff responsibly, just like anything else. So,
man, I know I say this all the time, but I'm just so blessed. Like, the full circle moment of getting to spend time with you, and then, like you said, with all your customers, feel in like you already know them.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't thank you enough for this, but also giving people insight to multiple things, like not only the holster world, but the other products you do, but also just like the business mindset of starting from the garage and then boom into a full-time business.
It's crazy to think about. Like, I try not to spend too much time thinking about it because it gets overwhelming. It's like, did I really? No, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, it's like what you said.
You got to stop every once in a while. Like you said, you're coming up on 10 years. That's awesome. We actually, we just went out of town, this last weekend for a family event to celebrate my grandma, who's been self-employed for 40 years. And I was like, how crazy is it that she hit 40 years and I hit my 4-year mark? Like that, I thought that was like a cool little, like, hey, all right, grandma. We're doing something because you hit 40 and I got 4. So,
well, it's a big deal because even now that you're speaking on it, even yesterday, I was coming home from the grocery store with my wife. I was pulling into the neighborhood. And I was like, babe, it's crazy. Because I've been doing real estate almost 10 years, but as far as being, my own boss, that's been about 7 years. And I was like, it's crazy. I've been in charge of this for 7 years and we're doing all right. And she's like, no, it's not. Like, you're doing good. And I just thought it was funny for me to put it into words, though.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in charge of this.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh crap, if it all goes bad, it's on me.
But it's a blessing to see, I guess, what you're capable of.
It is. That's what I was meaning with earlier. Is like, there's so much freedom in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is so much freedom in just like, hey, I'm blessed that I get up and I get to go do this for me today.
Yeah, we definitely
I'm doing this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I make a smoking ton of money? No. Am I happy? Absolutely. I am more happy doing this and all the extra burdens that come with it than I was working for somebody else, sitting there like, oh, am I ever going to get anything? Do I feel like I'm never getting anywhere. And then, it's like, oh, well, good job. Here's a nickel raise. Really? A nickel? It's like, I still pay myself the exact same as I did 4 years ago, but like, there's so many more opportunities that have come with that.
Yeah.
Because just of the business side, it's like, I'm not rich money wise, but I'm rich as hell in life.
Yeah. And that's a huge deal.
It is.
Man, I usually ask, like, is there anything else you have to say? But I feel like you ended it perfectly. Did you have anything else?
No. I thank God. If you take God away, none of this is possible. 100%. I'm not where I'm at today without him. So I put it on him. Like, yes, I get to do this really cool job because he blessed me with it.
And you took the action.
Yep.
It's a beautiful equation.
Yes.
But I'm glad that we got to have this type of meeting for the first time, but also just like looking forward to the future. But thanks for always answering my questions. Thanks for the product and me getting it 2 years ago. And then now we're sitting down, but being open for the podcast, telling me your story. I appreciate you, brother.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. It's like I said, I'd never done one. So, I was like, oh, well, it'll just be what it is. And, I look at it too, like this was no different than going out and setting up at a gun show and, just having that customer interaction. So,
well, even though your brand is very popular, I hope that people that listen to this can get behind the lens a little bit and just like see the quality of human behind their product. So that's really nice. But all in all, bro, I appreciate you and I look forward to the future. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.